Hello, everyone. This is Ronald Mason, president of the University of the District of Columbia, the public institution of higher learning in and for the nation's capital. I want to welcome you on our celebration of Earth Day today. And let me also recognize Dr. Zindendel, who is leading this effort with our College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. Our theme this year is Happy Earth, Happy Cities, and Happy People. Of course, you can't have any of those without the other. We need the earth to be happy in order for us to sustain ourselves here. Most of the world now lives in cities, so in order for the earth to be happy, we have to understand how cities work and how we are able to balance living in the city with maintaining sustainable practices so that our cities don't destroy our earth. And then third, happy people. At the end of the day, there is no difference between the earth, between our cities and our people, because we're all one under one creation, and none of us can survive unless it all survives. Finally, let me recognize Tommy Wells, our partner from the Department of Energy and the Environment. We're doing great work together. He's on our campus all the time helping us put solar panels on roofs and making sure that our water is clean before it goes into the Potomac River. Thank you all very much for coming, and I look forward to having a great day and a great week and a great month with you all. Happy Earth Day.
Great. Thank you very much, and welcome to the UDC Earth Day event. Today is April 22nd, and we are happy to have you. Thank you, Mr. President, for your inspiring opening remark. Welcome, everybody, to the UDC Virtual Earth Day event. I am Kamran Zendedel, the Acting Director of the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience in UDC College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. I would like to thank you for joining us and thank our UDC team, student, great audience, panelists, and community members to enable us to have this event. Before starting the event, I would like to share a few housekeeping notes for all of our participants. As you join us, you are muted and you will remain muted. If you have questions or comments during the event, please share them throughout the event using the chat box. We will try to answer your question as we have them. For any question that we could not answer, we will provide you with a written response after the event. So after the president remark, I will introduce our co-moderator and our great panelists. After that, we will have 3 UDC student presentation. The students talk about their research and the way that they are connected to Earth and benefiting our community. And then we will have the expert panel discussion. So we engage our expert through a list of videos that we receive from our community, and we will talk around those and see that how really supporting our community can help our Earth. Our closing remark is provided by the director of the DOE, Department of Energy and Environment, Mr. Tommy Wells. But before introducing our co-moderator and our great panelists, so let me share you a few thoughts. Today is Earth Day, and it reminds us we have responsibilities that extend beyond our own homes. Earth Day gives us the opportunity to review our action during the year and understand if they help or harm our Mother Earth. Earth Day inspires us to think beyond our own well-being and act on behalf of this planet we share and all its inhabitants. During the last year Earth Day, we tried to highlight the importance of environmental justice and its connection to urban sustainability. This year, we want to use Earth Day as an opportunity to celebrate our community's success and progress towards sustainability and resilience. The COVID-19 pandemic imposes a significant challenge to everyday life, and we want to highlight this year's Earth Day by celebrating our progress and achievement during the pandemic area. We are going to rise united for creativity and innovation to protect our community and our earth. UDC as an urban land grant university in the nation's capital. That means that we have a strong connection with land, and we have the responsibility to connect our community to land and what it provides. In this way, we can call UDC an Earth Grant University. This year, UDC Earth Day theme is Healthy Earth, Healthy Cities, and Healthy People. You may realize that our president called it Happy Earth, Happy Cities, Happy People. I should thank our president, because healthy earth means happy earth. Healthy cities means happy cities. And healthy people means happy people. So we are really celebrating this. So let me start with our co-moderator bio, and then I will turn it to her to introduce some of our great panelists. So Brenda Richardson is today, she's working with me and helping me to lead the event, and she is our co-moderator. She's an eco-feminist and has been working on welfare reform, environmental justice, economic development, education, behavioral health, and health issues for the past 25 years. She currently serves as the president of the Chosen Consulting LLC, a consulting company that focuses on community engagement, facilitation, training, and government relations, and is the principal of Women Like Us, an initiative that focuses on design thinking for women. She is also the vice chair of the Friends of Oxen Run Parks. So with me, let's welcome Brenda. And Brenda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Zindendel. I'm so grateful to be here on Earth Day and to celebrate a happy and healthy Earth, happy and healthy cities, and happy and healthy people. I'd like to introduce you to two fabulously happy people. Dr. Elizabeth Jaron is the project specialist in environmental planning at UDC Causes Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience. She teaches foundations in urban leadership and entrepreneurship and urban land use planning at the University of the District of Columbia. Her research interests include the benefits and impacts of green infrastructure and open space. She is currently serving in a range of professional capacities, including as a policy and planning consultant and as the chair of the Arlington County Planning Commission. She is just one of the best people that we know in our community, and we're so grateful to have her here today. Now I'd like to introduce you to a very delightful young man, Raymond Coates. He is a 61-year-old native Washingtonian who has spent his professional career as a community advocate and social service provider. He served in a variety of roles with the Edgewood Brooklyn Family Support Collaborative, the North Capitol Family Support Collaborative, and Building Bridges to Success, Inc. Mr. Coates is a proud graduate of the National Green Infrastructure Certification Program and is a certified Chesapeake Bay landscape professional. He is currently a candidate for both the Master Gardener and Master Naturalist certification programs at the wonderful University of the District of Columbia. Throughout his career, Mr. Coates works to foster healthy relationships between humans and their environment. We're so grateful to have Mr. Coates here with us today. Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you, Brenda. Great. So let me introduce the director of our Urban Ag program, so Mackenzie or Che Axum. Che is leading our UDC Causes Center for Urban Agriculture and Gardening Education, where he leads a team of researchers at the Fireberry Research Farm in Beltsville, Maryland, and oversees several community education programs, including the DC Master Gardening Program, Urban Agriculture Soilless Certificate, Urban Agriculture Technician Certification, Introduction to Agroecology and Sustainable Food Production, Gardening and Nutrition Program, and the 4-H Soccer Program. We are very happy to have you, Che. Our last but for sure not least is Chef Herb Holden, better known as Chef Herb. He's a nutrition educator for the Center for Nutrition, Diet, and Health in UDC Causes, where he does healthy cooking classes and demonstration through Washington, D.C. He grew up in a rural town in Delaware and began cooking for his family at an early age. He's a professionally trained chef and has worked in many restaurants. In addition to making fantastic food, Chef Herb teaches students and parents how to turn unhealthy meals healthier, how to stretch a budget for using fresh produce, and how to shop in season to reduce costs. Chef, we really love you and we are very happy to have you. Okay, with this, I would like to stop here and start our short videos. As we explained, we are trying to celebrate our success and progress during this pandemic area. The first three presentation is our student research from different colleges, and we will watch three 2 minutes videos, and then we come back to the panel maybe with one or two question, and then we continue from there. Thank you very much, and Jay, please move on.
Good afternoon and happy Earth Day. My name is Jaime Rios and I'm a graduating senior at the University of the District of Columbia in the Mechanical Engineering Department. I'll be graduating this spring with my bachelor's and going right into master's school also at the University of District of Columbia starting in the fall. On and off, I've worked with the Causes Group for the last 3 years now on multiple projects, including the East Capitol Urban Farm, funded by the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. I set up a pair of automatic water monitoring stations that monitor water going in and out of a rain garden built on a reclaimed parking lot. This project will help us better understand exactly some of the trade-offs that come with reclaiming urban areas for agricultural use. I also worked on the Green Roof Planter Boxes project, where we're monitoring the water quality of the water coming out of the planter boxes after a rain event. They're looking for things like contaminants, salts, and chemicals that come from the planters. I'm currently working on the Bertie Backus stormwater monitoring system, which is installing sensors, soil monitors, moisture sensors, smart cisterns, and water flow sensors that will tell us exactly how much water is being held back during a rain event from the stormwater systems. The impact of all of these projects is that the data will allow us to quantify and show the exact impact of both the damage we're doing and the things we're doing to help. This will help us better understand exactly where to focus our resources on the city and how we can have the most impact with our projects. It's also inspired me personally to understand what exactly green space really does for us. You can see here the personal gardens I've set up around my house now that I fully understand the impact they have. I hope the work you see here and the work we do around campus and town inspires you to look for ways to make the earth, your city, and your person a little bit healthier. Happy Earth Day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tercios, and I'm a senior civil engineering student here at UDC. I work with Dr. Zendidel, Mr. Traubin, and Dr. Dick Season on the Quantifying the Performance Farms in the District's MS4 Green Roofs project. This project was financially supported through a grant from the District's Department of Energy and Environment. This report was conducted jointly by the University of the District of Columbia and the Stevens Institute of Technology. The community impacts of this project is green roofs can be used to grow food in urban areas, and research like this helps us better understand the potential uses for rooftop farming. The location of our data collection site was at UDC Green Roof, located on Building 44 at the Backus campus, which had agricultural planter beds and a drip irrigation system. This research's primary goal is to help DOEE better understand and regulate agricultural green roofs in DC. For our data collection system, we designed a bucket collection system underneath each planter box to collect stormwater runoff after each storm event. Then we took them to the environmental quality testing lab for further analysis. We also placed electrical conductivity meters inside the buckets to measure the conductivity of the water. Rain data was collected from a tipping bucket rain gauge and time domain reflectometers installed in a green roof, and soil moisture sensors were embedded in the planter box to gather moisture content of the soil. Here at UDC, we focus on analyzing stormwater runoff for nitrogen, phosphorus, and suspended solids over a wide range of storm events. Thank you for listening and have a great day.
Happy Earth Day. My name is Midas Hampton. I am a PhD student in Urban Leadership and Entrepreneurship in the College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. The title of my research is Green Infrastructure Design and Implementation in Communities at Risk for Gentrification. My research supervisor, Dr. Elizabeth Guerin, is a project specialist in urban planning in the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience. Our funding and timeline, we received a $15,000 seed grant from Causes, and our timeline really spans from January to December, where we will review literature, do some civic engagement, analysis, construct the manual, and present. Our short-term outcome is a best practices manual of how to design and develop green infrastructure that minimizes displacement. Our medium to long-term outcomes really is about strengthening the partnership between UDC and the communities, but also improving the community's understanding of green infrastructure and gentrification processes. Overall, we want to explore the ways that GI and sustainability provide benefits while mitigating gentrification displacement in order to improve and aid our community in DC. The community impact are fewfold. I just want to highlight three right here: health, economics, and anti-displacement. We know that increased green space is connected to reduced stress and increased mental health. We know that an increase in the appeal of a space increases property values. But we also know that leads to displacement. And so what we want to do is how we can find a way to prosper in place and reap the benefits of green infrastructure. So my name again is Midas Hampton, and happy Earth Day. If you want to connect with me, all my information is on the screen. Thank you so much.
So thank you very much. I really appreciate and I really enjoy. It's a quick question, two quick questions. One maybe for Chef Herb. So Chef, I believe that one of the presentation about the food production in our green roof on top of the building 44. Do you use anything from the roof to have your classes?
Yes, I do. The gardens, the rooftop gardens, plus the garden out back, the garden of senses, are my go-to first for resources. Going in, when I have demonstrations or classes. So I always go up there on the roof. You see me up there, any time of the day, picking or being in the guy's way, trying to figure out what's available. And also the garden of senses we have out back 44 as well. I do use that as often and as much as I can.
Thank you. Let me thank also Che, enabling us to grow food on our urban environment, and then enabling Chef to turn them to a demonstration that can help our community. Thank you, Che. I have another last question here before moving for Dr. Guerin. So what is your interest, Dr. Guerin, to lead the gentrification and green infrastructure research?
And I want to add to that too, Cameron, if I can.
Please.
Love the notion of prosper in place, Elizabeth. Will the manual reflect that?
These are great questions. Thank you. So our intent, Mr. Hampton Midas is a beginning PhD student in our program, and he has some interest that I share. So this was a great opportunity for us to take them on together. We want to get a better understanding of what the green infrastructure impact is on communities when it comes in, if people feel like they understand this, and recognizing that often the benefits are so great that they raise property values and sometimes people get displaced. We want to understand what that's like at the live level. Our hope is that if we can figure out some areas along the process, we can come up with some practices to mitigate against some of the negative aspects of the increase in property value and the appeal, as Midas notes, of an area that benefits from this green infrastructure. Are there ways that we can help the community members stay in place and continue to benefit from that? So this initial research is meant to be to gain a greater understanding and hopefully come up with some tools that we can use, yes, to help people stay in place, Brenda, prosper in place. Everyone can benefit from this. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I think that is really needed research in Washington, D.C. I really appreciate you. Thank you. So now we have a list of short videos from our community members, from our partners, regarding their success and their progress on the project they are working on, that's helping our community and their community, and in addition, our Earth. So let's go together and watch. So we watch a few videos. We will open up to discussion, and feel free to share your question through the chat box.
Good morning. My name is Deborah. I'm a certified master gardener in Ward 5 of the District of Columbia. I was recently certified through the UDC Master Gardener programs, which is a part of the School of Causes. My most recent activities has been working with the new program coordinator for Master Gardening as a part of the Master Gardener Advisory Council, where we came together to put together processes, policies, and procedures, and actually write a mission statement for what we would be involved with doing as it relates to the community. I have also been recently involved in a lot of the lesson learned meetings where we're coming together to help develop the program. My most long-term activities will include being a part of the Brooklyn Middle School gardening project. And I also work with Public Gardens, which would be the Smithsonian Institute, Smithsonian Gardens, where I have been a docent for the orchid exhibit and the most recent exhibit at the National Portrait Gallery of the Arts for Habitat. Have a wonderful Earth Day. And the whole mission is gardening for a healthy environment. It also helps with our health by reducing stress. And it's just a wonderful thing to beautify green space. Have a great Earth Day.
Hi, my name is Keish. I'm here at UDC's Van Ness campus, where I'm working to promote the health of the planet, its creatures, and the community. I am a master gardener with the UDC Garden Club, which is soon to be part of the Environmental Sustainability Leadership Club. We're all part of Causes, UDC's agriculture program. I'm standing in front of the Garden of the Senses, where we have a variety of native perennials that support the many birds and insects that thrive here. And over there, we have our no-till gardening project, where we're growing a lot of kale and garlic, as well as many pollinating plants. Across campus, we have our vegetable garden and our teen garden. The teen garden was started by the Summer Youth Employment Program students. Those are the gardens where we grow most of our food. That's a wide variety of greens like collards, kale, spinach, and lettuce. And in the summer, we grow tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers. We use only organic gardening techniques in all of our gardens, and we help to keep the campus green and beautiful. Like all UDC programs, our work centers on the equity mandate. That means reducing inequities, and health disparities are a major source of inequity here in DC. So this fall, we plan to launch a major new project with the UDC Food Pantry, where we will provide fresh, nutritious food to UDC students and their families. So why don't you come join us? We need volunteers, and you'll enjoy being out in nature, promoting health, both for yourself and the community.
Thank you very much. Che, my first question goes to you. It seems that you want to turn the whole DC to a farm. This is your interest. So, and two presenters talk about the Master Garden Program. So tell us a little bit about that and why is the mission of the UDC Master Garden Program? You're on mute.
Yeah, thank you for asking and thank you for having me for the Earth Day program. So the Master Gardening Program is it's a regional program with every kind of region having their own specific kind of Master Gardening Program. We've had ours for a while, and
it seems that you are on mute too.
We've been thinking on mute.
Okay, yeah, good.
So very more food intensive. So we have a new person, a great person who's come in. She has a huge amount of experience internationally, locally, and globally. Miss Patricia Bond. So she's restructuring the program to make it very inclusive to all wards, programming wise, giving different types of programming and very kind of intensive program.
You are muted again, Che, I think. Okay, so I could not hear part of your response. Brenda, do you want? We will come back to that again. We have more videos about the master gardening, and you will have more questions about that. Brenda, do you want to help us with the second question?
Well, I'm actually taken by UDC's equity mandate. I think that is just an extraordinary thing for the university to do. And as I was listening to those two presentations, Che, I'm just wondering about, as you look at the master gardening, what about incorporating that into DC public schools as part of their curriculum and incorporating it into public housing? Because I'm very mindful of climate change, and one day we're going to have to all grow our own food. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, can you hear me? So, well, there are other groups involved in helping us promote that, especially in the school system. There's the group called OSSI, which usually does a lot of work with school gardens and things like that. So, if we could have a combination, probably focus and trying to really address it. I think it's very, very important that young people, have an understanding of, not just gardening, but sustainability in general, and that's, my goal always, is any student that comes to the University of the District of Columbia to come there and not leave there without an understanding of sustainability, whether it refers to architecture, whether it refers to environmental science or something like that. We have not done correctly what we needed to do. So yeah, it's very important that we start at a very young age, because like, for example, most young people know about smoking now. They know it's not good to smoke, and that whole program was a big, wide, expansive program to teach people at a very young age, not to smoke cigarettes. We have to do the same thing with food.
Okay.
What do you think about public housing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've had some interaction with public housing at one time early on in our dealing with the East Capitol Food Hub. We were even donating some of the food and trying to get people to come from the housing department to really learn how to do that. So I think that could be a huge program in itself to kind of do.
And we have a video about that, Jay. So let us, watch that video. That was a great question, Brenda, but we have a video about that. So thank you. And, because of the time, we need to move on, but we will watch that video soon.
I'm Jocelyn Johnson Green. I'm with East River Family Strengthening Collaborative. In particular, I work with the Family Success Center. I'm the program manager for the area for Benning Road, Benning Park, Benning Terrace, Marshall Heights, and Benning Ridge. And so lately, UDC has been providing this neighborhood with vegetables every Friday. And how thankful we are, because these residents have been able to incorporate very healthy foods in their diets on a regular basis, and they are so excited to have it. They're very thankful to have it. And so we just really appreciate you all thinking about us, because that's not always the case. And so the fact that you did means a lot. I grew up in this neighborhood, and I know what it's like here not being thought of. And so the fact that you thought of us, we're very appreciative.
Hello everyone, my name is Chef Herbert Holden from the Center for Nutrition, Diet, and Health, and I'm a project coordinator for SNAP Ed. I go all over Washington, D.C. doing nutrition education, cooking demonstrations, and just trying to change eating behaviors with one fruit, one vegetable at a time. Today I'm going to demonstrate a simple soup, a butternut squash soup made with, of course, the butternut squash. The ingredients is the butternut squash. I have yellow onion, I have fresh thyme, black pepper, olive oil, some garlic cloves, and I'm using a low sodium chicken stock today. Now let's talk about the squash. Is hard. The best way to get into this squash is to use a carrot peeler, which I'm going to show you how easy it is to peel. Now if you have issues with your hands where you can't grip, you can't cut, you're scared to use a knife or what have you, they do have it already peeled and chopped for you in your produce section in the store, so they make it easy for you. So I don't want you to get discouraged by saying because you can't grip a knife, or you're scared to use a knife, or you have other issues with your hands. So there's other alternatives. So don't get discouraged if you can't use this way, but they already have it peeled and cubed for you. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn my camera. You won't see me, but you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, thank you.
Hello and happy Earth Day. I am Juanita Diggs, a member of the Senior Companion Program at the University of the District of Columbia's Institute of Gerontology. I'd like to speak about the SNAP Ed program hosted by Chef Herb Holden. Since the COVID pandemic, Chef Herb has taken our previously in-person classes all virtual. The classes create social interaction where you're able to ask questions and engage in conversation with Chef Herb and Senior Companion members. Chef Herb has assembled a team of top-notch presenters who provide useful information on topics such as decoding nutrition labels, healthy cooking techniques, and actual cooking demos with the chef, such as perfect rice 3 ways. Chef's recipes are healthy, easy preparation, and delicious. These sessions have benefited me immensely. I have used them to stave off becoming diabetic, of which I have a family history. A notable, positive, tangible result is that my A1C number has decreased from 6.1 to 5.6, which is considered normal. I have totally enjoyed Chef Holden and his team's presentations on all things food related, and hope this program goes national. Thank you, Chef Herb Holden, for all your efforts as a senior advocate at SNAP Ed.
Great videos. I really enjoyed. Let me start with this, and then I want to pass it to Brenda. Che, that was very inspiring in food distribution. It seemed the lady was very happy, the community was very happy. Tell us a little bit about that, and what was your really motivation to start that?
Well, when the pandemic started, we had two directions to go. We either had to close shop, stop producing the food, cut the farm off, and just put a wall up between us and the community because of the pandemic, or just we had to really pivot and think about, what is urban agriculture important for? I mean, so we had to show the efficacy of it. So that was just a normal thing to do for us, just to pick a few primary needy folks, wards in the community, and just give food to them as much as we could. So that's what we did all during the pandemic, from day one.
behalf of the UDC team, really, I appreciate what you have done for the city and for the community. Brenda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Cameron. Chef, this question is for you.
Yes.
Oh my God, that sounded so delicious. I want to taste that. But let me ask you something. I live in Ward 8, and I find that we get all these fresh vegetables, but sometimes we are a fast food community over here. So what's the likelihood of UDC maybe selling their products in our stores so that all we have to do is buy it and go heat it up? Or maybe having a mobile unit somewhere in our community like they do with the trucks so we can get it already prepared. And I'm just being realistic because folks have to realize that everybody doesn't go home and prepare food. There are people who would rather just warm it up. What are your thoughts?
That's a great question. My, future wise, of us getting some of our products, in grocery stores would be great. And that's something that, will come later on down the line. But as far as distribution and doing the education right now with the community, we have UDC's food truck where we're able to bring the produce to your community and demonstrate right there on the truck. And you will see, UDC's food truck, visibility, from, the different locations in the different wards. So, I do use the truck to come out and demonstrate, using the fresh produce from our urban farms out in the communities. So, so we are, we're we're not competing with food trucks. We're setting the standards of using, our sustainability produce, that's grown right here in the backyard. So you can come and, watch and learn and also taste, and we give out the recipes as well in your community.
Great.
Thank you. Can I just share one more thing?
Please.
So,
Yes.
Chef, in your fabulousness, my dear, I would like to extend an invitation to you to come to Oxen Run Park. In light of the fact that it's Earth Day, we're trying to promote safety and nature in parks because of the pandemic. So we would love the opportunity to have you bring your truck to our park and help us to learn to be healthier so we can indeed be happier.
So, Brenda, let me tell you this. Chef Herb is in short supply. It seems that you are stealing it. No, that is impossible. Let me go quickly to Ray. Ray, you are living Ward 7, if I'm not mistaken, and that is the food desert area. Very quickly, how do you see this program that just we saw within a few minutes ago impacting the food desert areas?
Hey, hello everybody. Thank you again for having me here. I had some experience with the SNAP Aid program when I was working with the East Capitol Urban Farm. And what that program did was it made healthy food available, accessible, and affordable to people in that community. As I was out there, I saw more and more people coming with the SNAP Aid vouchers and other kinds of vouchers, and that kind of thing encourages people to try it out, and it worked very, very well. So I think those kind of programs are very good for our community because it allows people to have access to good, healthy, nutrient foods at prices that they can afford.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we really don't have time. I wish that we had more time to discuss further here, but the next one is also somehow related to you because Ray, you are part of the DC Master Naturalist program. Let's watch that together. We have a few videos related to that.
UDC recently reinstated the DC Master Naturalist program. This program focuses on environmental conservation, education and outreach, and aims to train district residents to become leaders in their communities within the field of environmental stewardship. The program focuses on providing service to DC communities in all 8 wards and fosters engagement of Master Naturalist members in a wide range of activities to help connect people with nature and conserve urban biodiversity. Members in the program contribute to the management of natural resources and natural and semi-natural spaces across the city. The program consists of 2 components. First, participants complete an intensive taught training program to school them in natural history, urban ecology, citizen science, and ecosystem management. Once they graduate from the trainee program, members go on to complete a volunteer service hour requirement that allows them to develop their interests and community connections while applying what they learned in the taught program. The activities members engage with are wide-ranging and diverse. They include such topics as invasive species control, environmental outreach and education, data collection, environmental monitoring, administrative and management duties for partner organizations, and interpretive work. The following video features one example of a DC Master Naturalist work focusing on native plants, pollinators, and beekeeping at a middle school in Ward 3.
Hello, my name is Teresa Savarino, and I'm standing here on the rooftop at Horace Mann Elementary, Northwest DC. It's a public elementary school, and I'm very happy to be here and share with you our beehives and tell you a little bit about our program. We do a lot of things to educate kids about the outdoors, and one of those things is the importance of pollinators, and they understand that honeybees, or we teach them the honeybees are the main pollinator of our food crops. We also teach them about other pollinators. We have a monarch garden. All of this is directed by our garden coordinator here, who's been doing that now for about a decade. So it's a long-standing program. We teach them about the importance of taking care of these pollinators in our ecosystem, which in turn provides us with, filtered water before it goes into the Potomac and clean air to breathe. We get them into the hives. We want to teach them the science, but we also just want them to be inspired by what they see when they open up the hive and they see the queen bee, which some of them have. And we get some converts, people who were children who were afraid of the bees, and then they leave and they say, I'm not that scared of them now because they've learned about them. We have a lot of projects going on to try to satisfy the need to take care of these pollinators, planting a lot of native perennials. We have partners in that, parents that are involved, some of the teachers. We have a local plant supplier who gives us plants. And we have one project in particular that I'd like to show you, a native pollinator bed that I helped plan last fall, and with the help of other DC Master Naturalists, planted it. So let's go take a look at that. Welcome to our pollinator garden. This is our restoration effort. We began it last fall. We started by identifying the plants that we wanted to plant from the Xerces Society website for native pollinators. And we checked that against what a partner of ours, a local plant supplier, had available. And then I had lots of help from the DC Master Naturalist. You can see all these blue flags. These are new plugs that we put in the fall. You can also see we've got lots of weeding to do. And so we'll have more help, I hope, going forward from maybe the naturalist, from our parents, maybe from some of the AU interns that we have. And you might ask, it is a lot of work, but you might ask, why are we putting so much time into this? It's not math or English or history, but we understand that we really want kids to leave here with an understanding of the connection between our actions and our support for our ecosystem and our well-being.
Great. Thank you very much. Elizabeth, I know that you have been working with Master Naturalist program for a long time, before in Arlington, and now you are even helping us. And clearly there is a strong connection with Master Naturalist and food production. So this, for sure, the Che have interest. Tell us a little bit about Master Naturalist program in overall, how that really, this program can help a city to be more sustainable.
Sure. Good question. Like Che said when he was talking about the Master Gardeners, Master Naturalist program is broad. This is a program that exists in our neighboring jurisdictions as well. And the focus here, like other jurisdictions, is to train and support volunteers for the beneficial management of our natural resources and our parks and open space. And in our DCMN program, our volunteers receive training in a wide variety of areas from local experts, folks right here in DC, on geography, microorganisms, reptiles, birds, a little bit on the gardening, land use, cultural history, citizen science, and so on. And then they go on to work in their communities. They get to decide where they spend most of their volunteer hours, and they provide outreach, education, and services back to the community. So we saw the example of Teresa at Horace Mann School. She's got a pollinator garden. She works with the kids and the teachers and the parents to talk about the value of the bees and help the kids become more comfortable with the bees. They see her working with them. We have other volunteers working on songbird habitat restoration in Rock Creek Park. And again, as part of doing their work, they engage with people who come to the park and talk about what they're doing and why it's so important. Other volunteers are removing invasive species and planting native ones at their local park, and at the same time talking with people who come in and want to know what they're doing. And still others doing work with Smithsonian on research on, I think right now they're looking at endangered crab and invasive parasite measurements. So a little bit different, but still they get to take this education with our support, ongoing training, and go out to the community and share what they're learning and help people get interested and invested in their local community.
Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Brenda? You're on mute.
I'm sorry, my question is to Che. What connections exist between DCMN and the Master Gardener programs?
Oh, well, great question. First of all, I'd like to say a little bit about capacity. Sometimes folks don't really understand the capacity that certain institutions have until they kind of really find out. At one time, I was told before I came to UDC in probably about 2013, they had about 14 to 15 extension people in causes in my department. For my group now, we have 2. So the capacity to go out and really reach everybody and do all the things we might want to do is not realistic. So what we do, we have and Patricia reminded me about it. Patricia Bond reminded me. We have the model in extension is really train the trainer. So we bring people in, we train them, like the master gardeners and the master naturalists and people like that. We train them, and then they go out and train other people because we can't really fully cover the broad width of all we would like to do with just the limited capacity that we have. So the connection is, we are still doing extension work. We're still doing outreach work. We're still going to do it to the best of our abilities. A lot of it will be virtual now. I try to put out at least 4 kind of video workshops each month, which people can go and look at the website and kind of get some knowledge that they might not have about, urban sustainability, agroecology, and, farming and gardening, things like that. But we have to work smarter now, and we have to work better.
So, Che, I appreciate it. Let me quickly go to Raymond. Ray, you are a trainee in DCMN. How do you feel about the program? If you could give us a quick, overview of your understanding and, the impact on your life and your community.
Thank you again. I like to, when I think about the Master Naturalist program, I think it's one of the programs that you can see an immediate impact. For instance, there's an organization called Ward 8 Woods Conservative, a small local organization operated by a local person who has already been able to train and hire at least 4 residents that's consistent and working to clean and understand and reshape the woods, nearly 500 acres of woods in Ward 8. I mean, it's a humongous project. They're a little teeny organization, but this master naturalist has taken it on himself to train and involve DC residents of Ward 8 in a way that's significant to them because they are employed. I am their outreach coordinator, and I am really, really proud to be a part of that organization, and very proud to be a graduate of the Master Naturalist program.
Okay, thank you, Ray. So the next video that we are going to watch together has really strong connection to what we are discussing. Let's go and watch that, and then we come back.
The National Green Infrastructure Certification Program is a professional training program for individuals that helps them to obtain a certification in construction, inspection, and maintenance of green infrastructure.
This is an incredible people project. We have to design this infrastructure. We have to build it in a neighborhood. We have to rely on that neighborhood to help us maintain a living organism. And then we have to have our own personnel to manage and maintain and inspect to make sure it works, just like any other piece of infrastructure, from here long into the future. So it's an infrastructure and a people project as much as it is an green and an environmental project.
For DC Water, having a trained workforce helps guarantee a better product. The program is focused on training underemployed and unemployed residents of the District of Columbia. So during the construction, we've seen higher quality construction, higher quality inspections, and higher quality maintenance once the green infrastructure has been completed.
What we've agreed with the city is that 51% of the personnel we will be training and hiring to do this work, at a minimum, will be DC residents.
They now have an opportunity to enter this growing workforce and become a part of that workforce and help catalyze green infrastructure implementation and construction across the district and beyond.
I'm a proud graduate of the National Green Infrastructure Program. I am now a green infrastructure professional. I'm so proud to be a part of this program, more importantly, because of what it does for me and what it does for my city, for my fellow citizens. I mean, we're cleaning the water that we drink. We're building things that we're going to use. We're getting careers out of this that normally we may not have been able to get.
This is a great opportunity. It's a new field. If you're interested in environmental sciences, gardening, plants, anything outdoors, then this would be the perfect place to be. And especially if you really care about your environment.
I'm very excited about this. I can't wait till the younger people come down into the ditch because there's a future here. There's a true pathway.
There's incredible benefits from green infrastructure. I always say $1 invested in green infrastructure is probably the best dollar that an agency can spend. And by having a certification which will link skill and quality at a level that we can certify, means we have more confidence in the work and that the person has an asset that they can take with them for the rest of their lives.
The minute I read about NG, the National Green Infrastructure Credentialing Program, I had to enroll. And I've been treated as a person of value throughout this process, including when I landed at Anchor not even 2 weeks ago. Seeing the thing come alive. Watching that stone build up. This stone first, then that stone.
Okay, that was a great video, Ray, and obviously the first question goes to you. So you are a graduate of, maybe one of the first graduates of that program, National Green Infrastructure Certification Program. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the program?
I continue to be excited. I continue to see the program expand and grow. One of the things that came from it and is ever growing in it is the entrepreneurship aspect of it. Now, some of us, myself included, have begun to work on establishing business so that we can actually hire the people that UDC trains. And that is a real possibility in our community. And one of the things I noted in this program is that one of the objectives is to grow in place. That NGICP is one of the programs that truly offer that because people can work in their communities, improve their communities, and improve themselves all at the same time. So economic and environmental impact, it equals into environmental and economic justice in our community, and you see it unfolding. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. So, Brenda, if you let me ask one question from Chef Herb quickly, and then move on to the next presentation because we are short in time. Chef.
Yes.
We are installing green infrastructure. Do you see any connection to have more green areas and hoping to see a better diet and better improvement in people's diet in those areas? Is there any connection?
There's a big connection because it's the health starts with the diet, and the fresher the better. And if you can go out the backyard and learn to grow your own foods, you become healthier. You be healthier people. You are you'll be more sustainable. Now we're focusing on ourselves. We focus on what we have outside of our door instead of relying on something coming from somewhere else. So it's a connection between the diet, the health, and infrastructure, the green infrastructure right out the backyard. So it's very important, and the connection is vital.
I'm really happy that we have that connection. Thank you.
Yeah.
So our next video is about Oxen Run and Ward 8. Let's go and watch those videos together.
Richardson. I'm with the Friends of Oxen Run, and we're just so delighted that we have an opportunity to preserve parkland in Oxen Run Park and to activate the park with the DC Department of Parks and Recreation, and delighted to be a partner with the University of the District of Columbia.
Hi, my name is Ab Jordan. I'm with Oxen Run Park along with Brenda Richardson, and we've been working for over 20 years to try to preserve Oxen Run Park as a green space and a place that would be available to folks who live in our community and people who are going to live in our community. And I wanted to show you that for all of the years that we've been working, we were recently awarded by the Department of Recreation a Friends Award for being a great preserver, we could say, of the parkland. And we're so excited about this. But I also want to share with you that we do have a relationship with the University of the District of Columbia. They've been working with us to help do a survey so that we can help to develop a comprehensive plan for our park. And that's essential for us in the future so that we'll be able to preserve that green space and know that the uses that we're going to make of the park or in the park will be consistent with what the community wants.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Akima Price, and I'm going to talk to you about a body of my work called Meaningful Park Engagement, where I was building a cohort of Ward 7 and 8 partners to support in trauma-informed engagement in Anacostia Park. I have 30 years in the environmental game, started with environmental education, and realized early on that I was more focused on affective outcomes because I was African-American, I was put in these African-American communities, and while the main meat of these organizations was to increase the environmental literacy of kids and to promote stewardship, I was in certain situations where, I was dealing with high obesity rates, low medium income, and poverty. And so when you're working in those situations, and unfortunately, primarily these were African-American communities, these were sort of the outcomes that I evolved to realize were most important, which I guess starting in 2014, I began working more with social service organizations around these type of outcomes, where you could still do nature-based experiences and still have secondary goals around increased environmental knowledge, but at the same time, considering, if residents' needs are being met and if people feel safe, because these are, to me, the sort of things I think make the difference. And so in doing this work, pulling together partners, learning about what matters to the community, looking at how their environmental challenges and environmental assets. And so in this case, we're specifically looking at Anacostia Park. I had this larger goal of bringing together a group of organizations to grow their capacity to meaningfully engage. And so this happened in Anacostia Park, which is not a hard sell. You got 6+ miles of gorgeous waterfront. You've got 1,200 acres of parkland, the only national park that grows lotuses and water lilies, and the only waterfront skating pavilion in a national park. So we collected these groups around this park, and we launched a 6-month program. We did monthly engagements, and we had over 2,000 attendees. We hired 15 community volunteers. We engaged 2,000 students and their families, and engaged over 20 partner organizations, and engaged over 20 new partners. And so a lot of our work was around capacity, trauma-informed engagement, and integrating research and park engagement into support community wellness and environmental stewardship. And so that's my work in a nutshell. Please feel free to reach out to me and/or find me on Facebook with the Urban EE Collective. I'd love to learn more and share.
With Climate Classes, which is a growing local group that helps people to live sustainable lifestyles by empowering individuals with the skills in order to do so. Climate Classes is also a group that supports the Black Lives Matter movement and is committed to supporting Black, Indigenous, and peoples of color as we all learn to grow and live sustainably. I am here today with my friend, Thomas Wheat. We are at the PR Harris Food Hub in Ward 8, and he's been so gracious to welcome us in and to agree to give us a tour of this very, very cool facility. So, Thomas, I'm going to let you take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Katie, for coming down. So we're at the PR Harris Food Hub in Anacostia, as Katie mentioned. It's a 5,000 square foot hydroponic and aquaponic facility where we collect data to try to assess the business viability of a small-scale food production site like this, and then distribute food to the community. This is a historic food desert, and so it's really important to try to give people around here access to fresh vegetables and fruits that they may not otherwise be able to get their hands on.
So this is currently in Ward 8. Are there other facilities that are like this in other parts of DC, or is this kind of a really unique project going on here?
Yeah, so this is one of 5 food hubs that UDC, the University of the District of Columbia, has. So there are several dispersed throughout the city. But for the most part, controlled environment ag, which is what hydroponics and aquaponics are a part of, it's kind of a new industry. So there's not a lot of stuff happening across the country, not a lot happening in DC. So that's a lot of what this project is about, is kind of proving this model of growing is a viable option in terms of trying to fill people's nutrient voids.
That's awesome. So start here, but go anywhere.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. Yeah, proof of concept, and then we kind of expand from here.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Are the, out of curiosity, are the other gardens like this, are they located in other food deserts, or are you also experimenting in other places where, say, there might be a Whole Foods or Giant down the street?
So for our project, most of them are in food deserts. There are a couple that are just, in terms of site selection, are in other parts that have access to fresh foods. But for the most part, again, we're trying to grow in communities that normally wouldn't have access to these types of resources. So it's important not only to provide nutrients and nutrient-dense foods, but also to spin off kind of educational opportunities, the job skills trainings that kind of all are a part of this budding industry are kind of how we target where we put these farms.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I am receiving notes that we are short in time. Let me ask my first question from Elizabeth. Elizabeth, it seems that you are working with Oxen Run, Park, and friend of Oxen Run. Tell us a little bit about your partnership.
Oh, well, that's a good question. Brenda and I met early on when I started working at UDC, and she had asked me to visit the park and help them achieve some of their goals. I've been working with them, attending their meetings and learning about the community. And some of my students in a class this spring undertook a series of stakeholder interviews to document the culture and the use of the park over time. And this is meant to be a beginning place as we expect development to come in and redevelop the stream in the park, just as they're doing in streams all over the country, and DOE has begun this research. We wanted to make sure that everybody knew that there are people who live there now who can weigh in on this with their experience, their knowledge, talk about how the park was used and what their vision for it is going forward. Ultimately, we'd like to do more. And I do want to say something that I find impressive about all of these videos is the work that they're doing. They've all learned what matters to the community. What does the community want? What do they need? And they did this by working as partners. And as an urban planner, this is very critical. Every community is unique. They have their own voice, their own local history and perceptions. And when we uncover this history and these voices, and we work together as partnerships, we're much stronger. When we share our talents, we're stronger as a team.
Thank you, Elizabeth. How do you see that, Brenda, from your point of view, this collaboration?
I'm going to be real short. It's an extremely meaningful and gratifying relationship because she's helping to guide us in territory that is sometimes challenging for us. So we're very, very grateful to Elizabeth and UDC for all their help.
Thank you. It's really nice to hear that. I really appreciate both of you. And before moving to the next video, because we are short in time, I really want to appreciate, Che, your leadership to enabling us to produce food in Ward 8 for the community in Ward 8, what Thomas, our colleague, explained. If you want to quickly share some words about that.
No, well, it's a team effort. I have an excellent team. Matt Gardine at the farm, Trisha Bond, Diego Leahy, Victoria Morowski, and Matthew Richardson. We just have an excellent.
Sometimes it seems that we lose you. I cannot hear you, Che.
Oh, I'm just saying we have an excellent team.
Yeah.
My center has an excellent team. So we just are very good at what we do, and we love what we do. So that's why.
Okay, let me tell you this. We are really proud of your team, and I really appreciate on behalf of the causes UDC. Okay, let's go together and watch our next video.
Hello, my name is Kyra Moore. I'm a DC native, Ward 5 resident. DCPS graduate, and a DC Master Gardener. I became a DC Master Gardener in 2019, and shortly after that, I started my volunteering at PR Harris Food Hub, which is in Ward 8. I also got an opportunity to work out at the UDC Firebird Farm, and both experiences have allowed me to understand the day-to-day task that goes into growing food for sustainability as well as food deserts. And in these experiences, I was able to meet professional gardeners, dedicated volunteers, as well as some students. They were the best to work with as they came in there ready to get their hands dirty as they learned how to grow. That experience gave me the courage and inspired me to move into this growing season, wanting to start a garden within our ward. I plan to do this with the efforts of my brother, who also happens to be a master gardener, as well as other master gardeners who have and are willing to reach out to just allow the opportunity for students to get an understanding of what growing is about or what gardening is about, to meet new friends, to understand that there are professions that are in agriculture. So again, it's been a pleasure to be a master gardener. I look forward to growing one season at a time. And again, let's get to gardening.
Happy Earth Day. My name is Kamran Zendadel, and I'm the Acting Director of the Center for Sustainable Development and Resilience in UDC College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences. Today, I would like to talk about a new collaboration between UDC causes and PEPCO. UDC and PEPCO have partnered to install an innovative container food production system known as an AgPod at the UDC Backus Food Hub site, the picture that you can see. Using advanced technology in the AgPod, we can grow high-quality, fresh food in a controlled environment during the entire year. The AgPod demonstrates a vertical hydroponic system with LED lighting for 20 hours of growth and sanitation for high-quality food production. The Electric Power Research Institute, or EPRI, will play a critical role to collect environmental and production data during the implementation of this project. As a land-grant university, UDC causes is committed to urban food security and will use the AgPod to diversify its research, teaching, extension, and production capacity. For PEPCO, they try to better understand the impact of indoor food production facilities on electric load in the near future. How this structure can support local communities facing issues like growing food deserts and a lack of sustainable option for urban farming and food production. This collaboration is part of PEPCO's Connected Communities Initiative. So having the AgPod enable us to grow many vegetables like lettuce, leafy greens, herbs, and root vegetables. The AgPod will be installed around the last days of April, and it will be part of the Urban Food Hub site at Backus, which enable us to diversify our training to our community, in particular those that living in food desert areas. All the production from the site will go to the food desert areas. Having the AgPod enable us to engage more community in our sites. The community can be involved in food production and entrepreneurship training. They can do volunteer work, and they can help us to distribute the produce that we will have. At the end, I would like to thank UDC and PEPCO team for working closely together to enable our community to access to more fresh and healthy food. Happy Earth Day, and thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Che, my first question goes to you. I would like to know a little bit about the Firebird Farm and its connection to the Urban Food Hub site that we have in DC.
Well, the Firebird Farm I hope everybody can hear me. The Firebird Farm is an extension of the food hubs, and the way we really envisioned this is one way to increase food and nutritional security throughout the food hubs and places like that. We kind of grow some of the same things that folks would grow in the food hubs, and for example, just having a supply of it growing there all the time is kind of what we were able to give out to folks during the pandemic. So when the volunteer base somewhat slowed down going to the food hubs during the pandemic, we still had, some production going on at the farm. And so that enabled us to really kind of keep a steady, somewhat steady flow of, food going to the food hubs. And
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Che. Brenda, you have the floor.
Cameron, I think I'll skip my question for the sake of time.
Okay. So, okay, great. So let's go to, and hopefully we'll have more time to conclude at the end. So let's go to the next presentation.
Hello, and welcome to Friendship Collegiate Academy and Early College High School Green Space Project. In an effort to protect Earth and our environment, Friendship Collegiate Academy is creating green spaces on our schoolyard. We have worked with students and community partners like UDC, Casey's Trees, LIDC to create a green schoolyard. This first space is our community garden, which is right on Minnesota Avenue, and we will be putting 10 additional raised beds in this space for community gardening. This is also the front of our school on Minnesota Avenue, where we plan to use this space as our open air market and also to plant fruit trees. This space is on the side of our school, which we will use this area to create the Peace Garden that you see here in this picture. This is on the side of our school as well, where we will use this space to create a fruit orchard. This space is a lot of asphalt that we want to have broken up and then to be able to create an outdoor learning lab with a green roof for our students to be able to help with some of our stormwater management issues on the property. This space will be used to place additional raised beds for fruits and herbs, and we will also have an outdoor classroom in this area. This is where we will have our rain barrels to help capture some of the rain from the storms and be able to repurpose it in our garden. This area will house our greenhouses where we will do our seedlings and we will be planting fruits and herbs. This space in the back is where we will have our farm animals and our outdoor learning space. We will also be planting those things that grow nicely in the shade, like blueberries and berries.
Greetings. I am Yahya Mustafa Madyun. Human sustainability focuses on the importance of human capital or the well-being of its population. Social sustainability has two goals: to recognize that we have an impact on others and on the world by what we do, and to protect future generations. That's where youth development comes in. When it comes to celebrating and preserving our earth, what can be more important than the development of our youth? Youth development is a process by which young people seek to meet their needs and build the competencies they need to succeed in adolescence and adulthood. It is also an approach to working with young people that defines goals or outcomes based on capacities, strengths, and the developmental needs of youth. As part of our land grant extension work of UDC causes, youth development opportunities in the form of workshops, roundtables, working groups, and listening sessions have been provided for hundreds of DC residents, including adults and young people. These learning opportunities include the nationally recognized Advancing Youth Development or AYD curriculum for youth workers, parent workshops, and AYD for youth navigating adult relationships. These youth development training initiatives have resulted in building the capacity of our community partners to collaborate with other organizations to host and sponsor learning opportunities. Participants say the youth development training has provided them with a set of best practices, and they have been able to build better relationships with the young people they serve. One young person described the workshop as a full detailed simulation of how adults affect children and why these things are important. If we are going to sustain the earth, we must continue to sustain our most important human asset, our youth. Happy Earth Day.
Thank you. That was very inspiring video. Chef, I know that you work with kids. Tell us a little bit about quickly and a little bit about your program.
Well, our program, we work with pre-K students all the way up to high school. Just planting seeds one in these kids, one vegetable one fruit at a time. Programming we go out to the schools and I get their hands on in the cooking lessons. I don't just come out and just say, I'm gonna cook for you guys. I get them involved. I want to spark that light into them to say, you know what, we can learn how to fix our own foods. As older students, I'll go out and teach high school students to be more self-sufficient, using their community gardens, using their own school gardens to maybe start, we can start doing our own soups or salads and put them in our lunchrooms, because we're growing it here, now, we need to figure out how to prepare this stuff. So I'll go out and I work with the students and show them, quick, easy recipes on how to prepare the things that they're grown. And then you never know, it leads to an entrepreneurship. You have your community garden, you're learning how to prepare the food. Now, what are we going to do with it? Let's get it back to the community. So that's how it starts.
Great, thank you. Elizabeth, I know that you also work with kids. Would you mind to share some of the work that you do with kids?
Sure.
Brenda, I'm sorry that I'm borrowing your time.
Yeah, no, I've done a lot of work with students at schools with gardening and getting outside, with lesson plans that are designed around standards of learning, with gardening, identifying trees and so on. And it's really powerful because everybody learns differently. And when we can offer projects like this that give students an opportunity to learn from experience and apply what they know to solve problems and connect their theories and knowledge in the classroom to these real world situations, that helps them be stronger. And of course, being outside has benefits of its own for youth. Sunlight mitigates against myopia. Children who have suffer from ADHD have a reduction in their symptoms when they get outside and regularly do things in the garden, that sort of low level, long intensity activity. And then I think these activities, like what I heard Shay mention and also Chef, there's a sense of agency when we let children, and Mustafa in his video, learn that they can protect their own very local environment, because we're always telling them about the environment and they understand things about the polar bear and decreasing temperatures, but that's very far removed. When we can help them understand, they can create a habitat in their own schoolyard to support songbirds or grow a garden and grow their own food in their backyard. We can help them understand the global impact of their actions, how their choices have an impact on the environment, and that's very powerful for them.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We are getting close to because of time. We have another event that started at 12, the UDC Research Week. So any 20-30 second final notes, final remark for the rest of the team, but very quick. Ray, do you have any notes you want to share? Very quick.
Hello.
Very quick.
First, I just want to say that I really, as a native Washingtonian, I really, appreciate University of District of Columbia and its bold efforts to participate and help grow our community. And I recognize the unique position that it's in as a land grant institution in an urban environment. And I just have to say, you are responding, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Brenda, very quick, if you could share your thoughts.
Kudos to UDC. Thank you.
Thank you. So Che, I'm afraid that I'm not going to. I'm sorry. So let's go to the final remark, which is from Director Wells, the director of DOE.
Hi, I'm Tommy Wells, and I'm the director of the DC Department of Energy and the Environment. And in DC, we have some very ambitious goals. We want to be carbon neutral by 2050. We want to only use green energy, or at least half the energy that's used by the district be generated from renewable sources by 2032. We want to get our tree canopy to be 40% of the city. We're cleaning up our rivers, in particular the Anacostia River, along with the Potomac and Rock Creek. We have a broad agenda for greening our city, preserving our planet, and meeting our clean energy goals. And so during this Earth Month of April, I want to acknowledge that we can't do this without our partners. And one of our best partners is UDC, a historically Black college university. And so UDC is a public university here in DC. They're also a land-grant college. And so how they partner with us includes things like deploying solar on their own buildings and providing those benefits to their students. It includes working with our Office of Urban Agriculture. UDC, being a land-grant college, has a lot of resources, talent, and support to helping grow food in the district, and also be innovative of how to grow more food in smaller spaces. And they have been very thoughtful about that in a way that we're able to partner with them with our Office of Urban Agriculture. We also have a unique partnership around bringing environmental education into one of our high schools, Anacostia High School. With the leadership of President Mason and his team, we have an extraordinary opportunity to create pathways for young people to work in environmental jobs. We know there's a whole new green economy. We're not celebrating just restoring the planet. We're also celebrating that it's a way to, to participate in the economy, get great jobs, and the support and leadership of UDC with Anacostia High School is a very important partnership and showing what can be done. So with that, Earth Week's our biggest week at the DC Department of Energy and the Environment. We're going to highlight some of the things we've been doing, and we're very excited about the continued partnership with the great partner in UDC. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. So I would like to thank all our panelists, co-moderator for participating, and I hope that those who join us had a great time. Let me at the end quickly thank our team, UDC team, marketing team, D and J. You really did a great job. Brittany, you were fantastic. Daniel, the same. And also DOE team, in particular, Director Wells. I really appreciate all of you and see you next time. Our next event is our research week, which is today is the causes research. Our student will present right at 12 o'clock, and hopefully we will see you there. There's a link is shared in the chat box. Thank you and have a great day.